There's something that most men ignore, yet it can completely transform their potency and energy. I repeat this with all the medical seriousness this topic deserves. A single point on your body can determine whether you maintain your virility or lose it bit by bit. Every week, I see patients who arrive with the same weary look, that mix of frustration and shame. Good men, hard-working ones, who one day discover that their body no longer responds the same way. Weaker erections, less desire, fatigue upon waking, and a silent sense of defeat. Many believe it's just age, others blame stress, and some resign themselves to relying on pills. But what almost none of them know is that the true origin often lies in a forgotten point, right at the very base of male virility, the perineum, the physical support for the prostate. That small space between the anus and the testicles acts as a natural switch for pelvic blood flow. When it's blocked by tension, poor posture, or a sedentary lifestyle, blood stops circulating properly, and the body loses its natural response capacity. Massaging it for just 1 minute a day, correctly and consistently, can awaken dormant circuits, improve oxygenation, and restore the strength of erections without the need for chemicals. And yet, almost no one does it. That's why today I'm speaking to you firmly as a urologist and as a woman who has seen many men suffer in silence. Ignoring this point is letting your energy fade slowly. It's not a matter of aesthetics or desire. It's a matter of health, self-esteem, and vitality. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how this massage can transform your potency, your prostate, and your confidence. But first, I want you to etch this idea into your mind. Virility isn't lost. It's reactivated. I remember Julián perfectly. 67 years old, he arrived at my office with a mix of shame and desperation. He couldn't lift his gaze. He told me almost in a whisper, "Doctor, I don't feel anything anymore. I could before, but now, simply nothing." His wife accompanied him, worried but also sad. They'd tried pills, supplements, even hormone therapies. Nothing seemed to work. And like so many men, Julián had started convincing himself that his time had passed. I asked him to stay calm and for one thing, trust. I explained that his body wasn't broken, just forgotten. That beneath the loss of potency, there's not always a hormonal failure, but often a simple mechanical issue. The disconnection of the pelvic floor, the area where the prostate receives its support and blood begins its journey to the penis. I showed him on an anatomical diagram where to focus his attention, the point between the anus and the testicles, called the perineum. I asked him to massage it gently each morning for 1 minute, breathing deeply, without shame, and with consistency. It shouldn't hurt, just activate. 3 weeks later, Julián returned a different man. His step was firm. His voice had strength. He sat in front of me and smiled. "Doctor, I don't know how to explain it, but the sensation came back. I wake up with natural erections and my wife can't believe it." That phrase said it all. The massage wasn't a trick. It was his body remembering how to function. His urinary flow improved too. He slept better and confessed that even his mood had changed. He told me something I'll never forget. "I feel like I recovered my place as a man." That's the truth no one tells. The male body needs internal movement, not just external pills. When the base is reactivated, the entire system responds: the prostate, the erection, and the mind. And believe me, that can restore years of energy in just a few weeks. Imagine an old house. The pipes have been working for years, but one day, the water starts coming out with less force. There's no visible leak, just accumulated pressure, rust, rigidity. The same thing happens to the male body over time. The internal pipes, the arteries and nerves that feed the prostate and penis harden, lose flexibility and responsiveness. But there's more. The pelvic floor, that network of invisible muscles supporting the bladder, prostate, and sexual organs, weakens and tenses at the same time. like a knot that blocks the water's path. The key point I'm talking about, the perineum between the anus and the testicles, acts as the central valve of that system. When you massage it correctly, you send a direct signal to the blood vessels and nerves that control erections. It's like opening the faucet after years of it being closed. Blood flows back in, tissues oxygenate, and the prostate decompresses. It's not about pleasure, it's about functional rehabilitation. The massage stimulates the pudendal nerves, the same ones involved in urinary sphincter control and erections. By activating them, it not only improves potency, but also reduces prostate inflammation, normalizes urination, and balances hormonal responses. That's why I say 1 minute a day can do more than an expensive treatment. The body has memory, but it needs signals. If you've ignored it for years, the massage is the simplest way to remind it how to function again. And I assure you of this, when that circuit reactivates, it doesn't just improve circulation. It brings back confidence, posture, and that inner sense of power. Because potency doesn't start in the penis, it starts at the base. The most painful part of dysfunction isn't the lack of erection. It's the sense of loss of identity, confidence, that silent security that accompanies a man when his body responds. I've seen many stay silent, hide the problem, even lie to avoid worrying their partner. But silence only amplifies the fear. And that fear eventually becomes a stronger enemy than any disease. I always repeat this in consultations. Virility isn't measured by an erection, but by the ability to reconnect with your own body. Perineum massage isn't an act of shame. It's an act of courage. It's looking inward, accepting that your body needs help, and giving it the chance to awaken again. I've seen men arrive defeated, and weeks later tell me they felt warmth, pressure, vitality again. Not because a pill forced a reaction, but because their own body generated the response. And when that happens, everything changes. The gaze, the energy, the way of walking. Even relationships transform because the man feels present again. I want this to stick with you. There's no age limit for recovering potency. Your body is still capable. It just needs you to remind it how. That daily minute of massage isn't a meaningless routine. It's a conversation between you and your virility. Impotence isn't the end. It's just a pause. And every time you choose to act, even with a simple massage, you're writing the beginning of your recovery. First, I want you to know something almost no one tells you. The perineum isn't just any area. It's the hidden heart of the male sexual system. There, nerves, blood vessels, and muscles converge that control both erections and the prostate. If that point fails, everything starts to deteriorate. Second, what seems like simple muscle stiffness from years of sitting, stress, or inactivity ends up affecting circulation. Blood stops filling the corpora cavernosa with the same force, and the result is clear: weak, fleeting, or non-existent erections. Many men see this as a sign of old age, but in reality, it's a reversible blockage. Third, and here's the most serious part, when the pelvic area remains tense and oxygen-deprived, the prostate suffers. Inflammation increases, urinary flow slows, and nights become interrupted with burning, heaviness in the lower abdomen. It's the same invisible chain that dims male energy day by day. And what I'm about to tell you is even more important. If you don't reactivate that microcirculation, you don't just lose potency, you accelerate prostate aging. Oxygen-starved cells age faster, raising the risk of serious diseases, even cancer. But there's also light. With the right massage, that chain can break. I've seen in my patients how urination improves, erections become more natural, and desire returns without drugs. The secret isn't doing more, it's stimulating better. Every time you massage that point, you send a clear command. Wake up, circulate, live, and little by little, the body obeys. Caring for the prostate isn't just medical. It's an act of self-love, respect, and reconnection with who you truly are as a man. Many think talking about potency, erections, or pelvic massage is shameful. But I'll tell you something from the heart and from science. There's nothing more dignified than wanting to heal your body. I've treated hundreds of men who arrived believing their virility was lost forever and left understanding they'd simply forgotten it amid the noise, work, stress, and routine. Male energy is like a river. If you let it stagnate, it becomes heavy, murky, motionless. But if you clear its path, even with a small daily gesture, it flows strong again. Perineum massage is that gesture. It's not a trick or a fad. It's the oldest, most natural way to reactivate the root of your vitality. Every time you place your hands on that area and breathe deeply, you're doing something bigger than physical exercise. You're reconnecting with your nervous system, your circulation, your mind. You're sending your body the message it's been waiting years to hear. I still can. And what moves me most as a urologist is seeing that change in my patients' eyes. When blood flows again, so does confidence. When the prostate deflates, the soul decompresses too. When a man feels his body alive again, his gaze changes. He walks differently, speaks differently. He becomes more present, more serene, more secure. And it all started with 1 minute. A minute many underestimate, but one that can be the difference between resignation and reigniting the inner flame. I know there's fear. Fear of failing, of not being the same as before, of disappointing. But I want to tell you this with my full voice. Fear dissolves when you decide to act. You don't need to hide, stay silent, or rely on a pill to feel like a man. Your body knows how to recover. It just needs you to listen. That's why I invite you to turn that massage into a small ritual. Do it every morning or before bed. Dedicate 1 minute to yourself in silence, without guilt. Place your fingers on the point between the anus and the testicles. Press gently. Make slow circular movements. Breathe. There's no rush, no mistake, just consistency. At first you might feel nothing, then a slight warmth, a pulse. That's life. That's energy moving again. And little by little, over days, you'll notice small changes. Better urination, peaceful sleep, waking with more vitality. And then, without realizing it, that moment you thought was lost will arrive. A firm, natural erection, without fear. That's the sign your body has awakened. It wasn't luck. It was decision, discipline, self-love. Caring for the prostate means caring for your potency, your mood, your relationships, your self-esteem. Because when a man feels good about himself, his energy shifts and everything around him improves. His partner, his rest, his joy. And that, dear patient, can't be bought. It's cultivated. I'm speaking to you not just as a doctor, but as a woman who's seen too many good men surrender due to misinformation. Don't let silence steal your hope. Speak, act, massage, breathe. Change doesn't come from outside. It starts within you, right at that point connecting your body to your deepest energy. And if this message reached you, if something inside felt it was time to awaken, do it today. Not tomorrow, not when you have time, today. 1 minute may seem small, but when done with intention, that minute transforms life. As a urologist and someone who's dedicated her career to men's health, I tell you this with all the certainty of my experience. Virility isn't lost. It just dozes, and you have the power to wake it. Do it for your body, your mind, your peace. And if this video or message was useful to you, comment the word thanks, because every thanks is a way of telling the world that men can talk about health, potency, and hope, without fear, without shame, and with pride. Joe.